Hi, thank you all for being here this evening. My name is Paul Blackman, and tonight I'd like to give you a demonstration on knot tying. This evening we'll be going over 4 simple yet very useful knots. We'll be going over the fisherman's knot, a knot called a bowline, a knot called a clove hitch, and the last is a half hitch. And you might ask yourself, well, why do I need to know these knots? And my question to you is, well, do you fish? And do you know any knots? Because if you go fishing, then you need to know how to tie a hook on a line. And for everyday use, it's very practical to know how to fasten something to a package with a simple piece of cord. So if you'd like to know, I've been fishing my entire life. I can remember very clearly catching my first rainbow trout when I was 5 years old. And that was just over 30 years ago, and I don't think there's been a single summer since then that I haven't been fishing or caught fish. And in addition to that, I've been a certified ropes course instructor since I was 19 years old, and I've been doing tree work professionally for the past 13 years. So needless to say, I know a few knots, and it's something that I use every day at work and quite often at home as well. So what I'd like for our goal tonight is I want you to really be happy knowing that you have the ability and the certainty to tie a hook on a line and to know a few simple knots for everyday use. And while we go through the knots from the fisherman's to the half hitch and those in between, just know that it takes patience and practice, and you'll probably have to look up this video and watch it several times before you'll even tie this knot correctly once. But that's okay, because that's usually how it works with this sort of thing. So to get started, we'll get into the fisherman's knot, and instead of using a small hook and thin line that's difficult to see tonight, I'm going to use a wood hook and a piece of fluorescent cord. It's much easier to see and a lot easier to work with for the demonstration. So what I do is, with the line coming off of my fishing rod, if you can envision that here, holding my hook in my left hand, pass my line through the back side, just lay that down there. And what I would do is, coming from back to front, front to back, looking at it from your direction, is I go over the line once, twice, 3 times, finally a 4th time, come back through the bottom loop, up through the top loop, pinch both of these ends together, pull that taut, slide the whole knot down until that's nice and taut. And now when you're out fishing, what you would normally do is keep a pair of nail clippers with you just to snip that excess off nice and close and tight to the knot there. That'll give you a very secure fishing knot, and that will hold and last well with even heavy fish on. So to go through that once more, take it from the line coming out of the rod end, pass it through the back side of your eye on your hook, come over your line once, twice, 3 times, finally a 4th time, come through the back side of your bottom loop, come through the top loop once more, pinch the lines together, pull them taut, and then you would snip the excess off, and there you have a good secure fisherman's knot. Second in the list is going to be our bowline, and this is a knot that's been used for millennia in seafaring vessels and tying down cargo for hauling. It's a very secure knot, very practical, extremely strong, and most importantly, after it's been stressed and had a heavy load put on it, it's actually very simple to untie still, mostly just with your hands. It's very rare that you would need any sort of mechanical advantage to untie this knot after it's been stressed. So to start with my left hand facing me, drape the rope over from the back side of my hand to my palm with my left thumb up, bring the rope down, over, and make a 6. You see that there. Come up through the bottom of the hole, around the top post here, and back down through the hole so that both the tail end and that side of your loop are parallel together, coming out the same side. And that gives you the bowline. once more. My left hand with your palm facing you and your left thumb up. Take your rope from back to front, come over, make a 6, go up through the bottom, around the top post, back down through the hole, one taut, have your tail and the loop parallel. It's nice and tight and secure, yet comes undone very easily. And that's the bowline once more. There you go. Our third knot tonight is the clove hitch. And clove hitch is particularly useful for quickly tying an object. If you have something to tie to a post or something with a handle that you'd like to tie to something else, clove hitch is fantastic. And then our fourth knot is going to be the half hitch. And the half hitch is something that I use in conjuncture almost with every knot that I tie as a safety backup, but very rarely on its own, because the half hitch tied on its own really is just a simple overhand knot that can slip out if you're not careful with it. So I get a little overzealous sometimes, and that's what happens. So to start with the clove hitch, very simple, holding standing end of my line, my left hand, go away from me, over the cooler handle, pull it back, go to my right or your left, over the line that we just put there, come back through, and once more, come back on that side, so that you have what looks like an X here, and both the standing end and the working end are coming out on opposite sides of the knot. Now on top of that, why I was talking about the half hitch in conjunction with this, is that I would never tie this clove hitch and leave it isolated just like that, because there's also a good chance that that knot could roll out and come undone. However, with a simple half hitch on the top of that, that knot is now good for rigging purposes in terms of strength, and it won't roll out and come undone. It's also another knot that's particularly easy to get undone once you've put it under stress. So once more, the clove hitch, over again to the right, back through, over on the left side. There you have your clove hitch with a half hitch safety backup. So if you're wondering, well geez, now that you've tied this cord onto the handle of your cooler, then what would you do with it? If I were out in the woods and I didn't have an extra hand and I needed to tie this cooler to my pack and I wanted it to be done quickly, what I would do is simply tie clove hitch on one side of the handle with a half hitch safety backup, fasten it up through any secure point on the pack, and back down to the other side of my handle. There you have it. Very quickly, you got your pack and your cooler tied together, and you can motor on. So once more, it will also come undone with relative ease, which is incredibly important when you've got to get something untied as quickly as you've gotten it tied. You can see that one stayed there. So we'll go through it one more time. Clove hitch on one side, come through, back over the top, half hitch safety backup, pull that nice and taut, pull up here through the loops on your pack, and back through your handle, pass back through the right, come back through on the left, so both your standing end and working end coming out on opposite sides, and then with half hitch safety backup, that's done, and you can be on your way. Alright, great. So, in conclusion, I'd like to start to wrap things up here. But once again, thanking everybody for coming tonight. When we go through looking at our fisherman's knot, our bowline, our clove hitch, and our half hitch, let's pass through them one more time quickly and with ease, just to show how practical these knots can be every day if need be. Start with our fisherman's knot. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Back through the bottom, back through the top, pulling them taut, pulling that taut there. Got your fisherman's knot. When we need our bowline, remember, make your 6, up through the bottom, around the back down through the top, so that they're both parallel and facing each other. And then, of course, with the clove hitch and half hitch on our pack, very simple and effective way to tie things together when we need them. Now, it's okay not to get these knots right away. It happens. It's going to take some time. You may have to watch this video 25 times or so before you'll even tie the knots right once. That's usually how it works when you're learning something new. And in the future, if you needed to send me an email, you'll be able to look this up on YouTube. And you could also look through our school website, which would be charteroak.edu. And my email there would be pblackman@charteroak.edu, and you could ask me questions, any comments that you might have, you could send there, and you'll be able to view this again and again. So hopefully I didn't tie you up too long. And just so you know, the ability to tie a few simple knots could well come in handy someday when you would least expect it. So thank you very much. Good evening.